Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Great Lakes Institute of Management, Chennai, and Madras Management Association, a warm welcome to all of you. This morning is centered on a simple but often overlooked idea that improvement does not always happen from adding more technology, automation, or complexity. Sometimes it comes from stepping back and asking a basic question: how is the work actually getting done? Today's focus is Karakuri Kaizen, a way of thinking that values intent over sophistication, simplicity over excess, and effectiveness over appearances. Over the next few hours, we'll explore how this philosophy translates into real operational outcomes, especially in cost-sensitive and scale-driven environments. Before we begin, a quick housekeeping request. We kindly request that you please keep your mobile phones on silent. To formally commence the program, I request our dignitaries to join us for lighting of the lamp and felicitation of the chief guest, Mr. B. Santhanam.
To begin the formal proceedings, it is my privilege to invite Mr. Lakshmi Narayanan, President, Madras Management Association and Managing Director, Sundaram Home Finance Limited.
Mr. Lakshminarayanan D is the President of MMA and Managing Director of Sundaram Home Finance Limited, with over 30 years of experience in financial services. Mr. Lakshminarayanan brings strong expertise in risk management, operations, and strategy, having held senior leadership roles at Sundaram AMC and GE Capital in India and Australia. Mr. Lakshminarayanan is a commerce graduate, a qualified cost accountant, and holds an MBA from LIBA, Chennai.
Thank you. It is my distinct privilege to deliver the formal welcome at this exclusive conclave on Karakuri Kaizen, leveraging low-cost, high-impact innovation for superior operational efficiency. I extend my sincere thanks to Great Lakes Institute of Management for partnering with MMA with invaluable support from CAS to bring this program to life. Good morning, all of you. A warm welcome to the distinguished guests, Mr. B. Santhanam, former CEO, Asia Pacific and India, and Chairman, Saint-Gobain. Mr. Tej Kumar, Vice President, Operations, Product Development and Quality, Toyota Gosai, South India Private Limited. Mr. Gautam Lakhamraju, Chief Operating Officer, Great Lakes Institute of Management. Dr. N. Vivek, Professor of Practice Operations, Great Lakes Institute of Management. A special welcome to Mr. Yash and Ms. Pratima from GLIM for their tireless efforts in this conclave success. I also greet our moderator and panelists for the upcoming discussion on Karakuri Kaizen and Future of Frugal Automation, Lessons for Indian Industry. To all the participants from MMA, Great Lakes and partner organizations, whether here or joining in online, thank you for being with us here today. For our guests and from various organizations, allow me to share a brief note on MMA. Established in 1956, we've grown into the largest management association in the country with over 8,000 members across 12 chapters in Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. We are also proud to have been named as the best management association in the country for 15 consecutive years, including the latest year. Karakuri Kaizen, rooted in Japan's Toyota production systems, is a powerful problem-solving approach with Kaizen philosophy. Kakuri means clear separation of work, processes, and responsibilities to make the problems visible and improvements straightforward. By isolating the machine's operations and tasks, it quickly reveals abnormalities like defects, delays, or inefficiencies, reducing variability, boosting safety, and enabling focused continuous improvement. This methodology powers just-in-time production, quality at the source, and employee-driven enhancements. For our manufacturing participants, the key takeaway today: design processes that expose issues, strip away complexity, and empower teams to own their improvements. Our industry experts who have implemented this project firsthand will share their insights. By the end of this conclave, I am confident that you will see how Karakuri Kaizen delivers stable processes and rapid problem solving and sustainable excellence in operations. I look forward to these lively discussions both here at the venue and online via MMA's social media platforms. I'm also thrilled to announce the formal launch of the white paper, Karakuri Kaizen, the low-cost silver bullet to enhanced profitability, authored by Dr. N. Vivek and his team at Great Lakes. Our chief guest, Mr. Santhanam, will release it this morning. This resource promises to guide organizations towards greater production consistency, precision, superior product quality, and dramatically lowering costs. Karakuri Kaizen proves that transformative innovation doesn't require deep pockets. By eliminating waste, unreasonableness, and unevenness, it yields simple, creative solutions with profound impact, driving efficiency and inspiring ongoing progress. I trust this will motivate enterprises across India to embrace such frugal strategies for operational excellence. Once again, my thanks to the Managing Committee, MMA members, distinguished invitees, partner organizations, and viewers tuning in live. Wishing you all an enriching conclave today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for setting the context for the day.
As we move forward, I invite Dr. Debashish Sanyal, Director, Great Lakes Institute of Management, to sharing the opening remarks. His perspective will help frame today's discussion with a broader organizational and leadership lens. Can we request the auditor, please?
Dr. Debashish Sanyal is the director of Great Lakes Institute of Management, Chennai, bringing nearly 4 decades of leadership across India's leading business schools. A nationally recognized expert in international accreditations, Dr. Debashish has guided multiple institutions through AMBA and ACHAB milestones and previously led Great Lakes Gurgaon through major growth and research-driven expansion. Dr. Debashish is known for his strategic vision, academic rigor, and institution-building expertise with strong global orientation.
Thank you. A very warm welcome to all of you. A very good morning from... let me start with a simple question. If told you that a factory cuts the cycle time by more than half, improved ergonomics, reduce energy use to zero, and did all this without buying a single new machine, most of us would assume that there must be a catch. What if I told you that some of these solutions cost less than a mid-range laptop? You will be more surprised. Correct? This is the idea at the heart of Karakuri Kaizen, and that's why we are here this morning. On behalf of Great Lakes Institute of Management and on my personal behalf, I take this opportunity to warmly welcome once again you all to Foundations of Organizational Excellence, Karakuri Kaizen, and the Logic of Low-Cost Innovation. A special welcome to our keynote speaker, Mr. B. Santhanam, former CEO of Asia Pacific and India, and chairman of Saint-Gobain, India. Sir, we are honored to have you with us and greatly look forward to your perspective. I would also like to acknowledge Mr. Tej Kumar, Vice President Operation, Product Development Quality of Toyota Gosai. This session would not have been possible without Toyota's openness to allowing us to observe, question, and document real shop floor practices, sir. Thank you so much, sir. My sincere thanks as well to Mr. Lakshmi Narayan, President of the Madras Management Association, sir, and Group Captain Mr. R. Vijay Kumar, Executive Director MMA, for their leadership and for co-hosting this important dialogue. At Great Lakes, we often say that industry-academia partnership is not a slogan, it's a responsibility, and we really believe in it. We keep trying various initiatives to take it further. The Karakuri study we are discussing today was not written in isolation. It was co-authored by our faculty, Professor V. Vivek, working closely with Toyota, observing live operations, speaking to shop floor teams, and documenting what actually works, not what looks good on PowerPoint slides. We believe Great Lake is among the few institutions that does not merely talk about bridging industry and academia, but actually builds that bridge, converting practice into insight and insight into impact. What emerged from this collaboration is both powerful and relevant for Indian industry. We saw gravity-powered mechanical solutions replacing powered automation. We saw cycle time reduced by more than 50% in certain processes. We saw improved machine utilization, smoother material flow, and significantly reduced physical strain on workers. And all of this came with near zero energy use and a fraction of the capital cost of conventional automation. The large message is even more important. Operational excellence does not always require sophisticated technology. Often it requires better work design, sharper thinking, and deeper respect for shop floor intelligence. For India, where MSMEs dominate manufacturing, where capital is constrained, and where sustainability and workforce well-being matters deeply, this approach is very essential. Our hope is that today's session encourages all of us to think or rethink how we pursue productivity, to optimize first, to automate thoughtfully, and to value human ingenuity as much as machines. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I would like to thank everyone over here, the dais, and who has joined us this morning. It's an important session, and my special thanks goes to Toyota and Professor Vivek for collaborating with us. Thank you, MMA, for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Before we do the official launch of the paper, we would like to invite our director, Dr. Sanyal, Group Captain Vijay Kumar, Dr. Vivek Sir, and Tej Kumar to felicitate our guest, B. Santhanam.
Continuing with the agenda, we now move on to an overview of the key ideas that will anchor today's session. This segment brings together academic interpretation and operational experience. May now invite Dr. N. Vivek, Professor of Practice Operations, Great Lakes Institute of Management. I would also like to acknowledge Mr. Tej Kumar, VP Operations, Product Development and Quality, Toyota Gosei, South India Private Limited, for his intense contribution to the white paper. May I request the EVT?
Dr. N. Vivek is Professor of Practice Operations at the Great Lakes Institute of Management with over 27 years of teaching experience. Dr. Vivek holds a PhD in Supply Chain Management from Anna University, Chennai, and specializes in operations, supply chain, quantitative methods, quality management, and theory of constraints. Dr. Vivek has published extensively in peer-reviewed journals and presented papers in India and abroad. Mr. Tej Kumar is Vice President Operations, Product Development and Quality at Toyota Gosei South India Private Limited, part of the Toyota Group, with over 28 years of experience in automotive plastics and LED technologies. An MBA in Operations and a Plastics Engineering postgraduate from CIPET, Mr. Tej Kumar is a certified global quality Dendoshi leader and an eminent trainer in TPS, Kaizen, lean manufacturing, and quality management. Mr. Tej Kumar is also the initiator of Karakuri, low-cost, power-free automation, and a recipient of the Best Karakuri Global Award from Japan.
Okay, I want to start off by acknowledging our dear director Debashish sir. You are the one who inspired this. And the chief guest, we got very great regards for him. Thank you so much for coming and helping, sir. Right. I will also want to acknowledge two students, okay, Abhishek and Devanshu. They were the ones who came into the Toyota workplace. Toyota doesn't believe in YouTubes or whatever. You have to go and see it for yourself. They were there on the shop floor. And special thanks to Tej sir. I want to say a few things which are not known outside. So I walk into Toyota, same Toyota. He came to the gate to receive us. Okay. And yeah, thank you, sir. And I want to say something which he has achieved, which is not noted normally. The driver who brought us in, the car driver he had sent, he said, I need to go, can you get off fast? It looked odd, right? Then I asked him, why, what's the problem? He said, so okay, we went, we changed into our safety boots, etc. I see this driver has changed into his production clothes. He is running the machines inside. All the drivers in Toyota go say, I don't know how you pulled it off, sir. Every driver can run the machine. The famed Toyota. Now let's get into, did you believe it? No, right? I saw it. And then during tea break, they took us somewhere. Now we are not so committed like them to stand. I find the accounts department, HR department is going and running the machine. Why during tea break the workers are taking off, machine should not stop. This was, I didn't put it in the paper, nothing to do with Karakuri. It's that Toyota mindset. It's the Toyota mindset, don't waste anything. And when we first, actually Karakuri was something, I'm going to ask all of you a question. Supposing you want to automate, mind you, this is a real life case that I've seen, I'll mention what it is. Let us say you're manufacturing dewatering pumps, heavy ones. Your line capacity is 45 pumps per shift. Okay, I'm going to ask you to improve the capacity to 60 pumps per shift. Investment less than 5,000 rupees. Anyone will accept it? No change in labor, no change in material, no change in anything, no change in layout. I'll give you 3 days time. Do you think it can be done? I saw it live. And we have Shankar sir here. People normally think Karakuri is for automotive, etc. Can you believe that in a cement plant, by investing just 5,000, I don't think it's 5,000 anyway, it's scrap only. They took scrap material and did it. The annual profit increased by 75 lakhs. Profit. Not talking about cost reduction. And that is the power of Karakuri. And Indians by nature, we think differently. All we need to do is, okay, here is the next catch. All of you have seen Lego blocks, right? Moment I go and ask somebody to fabricate something in the industry, they will tell us, it will take us 5 weeks, 10 weeks, right? You never get a fabrication, even then you'll have a lot of problems. Supposing I say I give you 2 days, use only standard components, assemble it like Lego blocks, and your solution should be ready using 5th class physics. Would it improve your profitability, yes or no? That's the point. How do you think we can pull it off? Very few companies have actually scientifically done it, and they were willing to share it with us. We have tried to make an SOP out of it for the industry. And I also want to acknowledge Sri Venugopal Gowda. He is one of the 2 or 3 suppliers of Karakuri standard components. It's there. During tea break, I encourage all of you to come. Here is an open challenge. In any of those models, can you find a single welding? Okay, can you find a single boring? Can you find a single drop of grease? Okay, and most importantly, if I want to reuse it, can I pull it apart and make another model out of it without scrapping it? Okay, open challenge, you're all welcome to find, go around, move it, it's all available. One is in ABS, the other is in aluminum. We prefer aluminum because it's lighter. Okay, so and we would also welcome questions. The idea is, already Santhanam sir asked me a question. Sir, I'll be happy. We love challenges. Normally people tend to go overboard with this, right? No, here it is not the case. Sky is the limit. And I would want to say one last thing before I call Tej sir. Karakuri uses no energy officially, but we do use energy like gravity, etc. He did something unbelievable which we saw. He has done something called an energy wastage audit in his factory. It's not the regular energy like how much is wasted. Every time, let's say you push a cart, some energy is used, correct? Right? And he has listed out how many times one-way energy is used so that he can store it in some way, either in a spring or a pulley or a gravity, and then reuse it for another solution somewhere. In fact, I would want every industry to do potential energy source audit. We waste so much of energy which we don't see. So thank you very much, sir. I don't want to take up more time. He is the hero of the show. He is the one who has done it. By the way, they also got the best Karakuri award worldwide in Japan last month. And before I stop, I think I want all your help, sir. Karakuri exhibition is held only in 2 places in the world, one in Thailand, one in Japan. It's my dream that it should come here. I would want it here. Yes, Chennai. I would want, maybe we could work on that, sir. So, Tej sir, it's over to you now.
Good morning, sir, and thank you for this opportunity and all the distinguished leaders sitting and also the leaders sitting in front of me. It's opportunity where we can do something different and better. I saw a video about me. They didn't tell about one thing in that video about me. In simple, I always tell about me is I am a writer, speaker, biker, hiker, and a lifelong learner. The last one is most important for me. If I do not wear that elbowed, we wear elbowed only to get the RTO department's driving license. After that, we don't wear elbowed. Correct? Huh? Most of us. So the moment we throw away that elbowed out of the mind, heart, no Karakuris can happen. So if I strongly believe that with that one phrase of word, learned people live in the past, whereas learners live for the future. So I think we have to live for the future, not for the past. So with that thought process, I want to say, Karakuri, this whole concept, I started studying somewhere in 2015 and 16. And the first article I wrote about Karakuri was for one of the engineering colleges in near Bangalore, Tumkur. So they requested, sir, give us something, some new concept which students would like to know. So that was SIT, Siddhganga Institute of Technology for their industrial engineering and management. So I said, why don't we look at this concept? So that was my first write-up about that, and then started looking at how we can start working on that case by case. So the journey started from 16 to be very precise. And literally to be, even though I am in a Japanese company with lot of Japanese concept, Toyota concepts, etc., this itself was not a popular concept that time. Now it is really taking up shape. But what's important is like, we shall be recognized only when we do things differently. So everybody knows about TPS, everybody knows about just-in-time, Jidoka, and you name it. You have hundreds of books which talk about all these Japanese principles. And there are many such principles which has been adopted. Many of you would not have even heard of it. So people talk about monozukuri, people talk about Karakuri, which we are today discussing. There is some more concept called Jishuken. There is some more concept called Makuno Uchi. All these things are very simple. And when I am talking about this concept, this doesn't require investment. When I talk about all these things, these are simple concepts which can bring wonders. So that's how Karakuri is also one such part of it. And Sir, Vivek Sir has visited our plant. The whole idea I am telling for all the ladies and gentlemen here, dream big, think simple. You can do wonders, you can achieve our dreams, but can we look at simple things? In today's world of technology, we are all glued to the aspect of, any improvements, any development means we need to invest a lot. So then we are in the world of AI and ML. Yes, we are undoubtedly, which is also required, but is that the only thing required? So can we do something better, simple, and much more effective? And for Toyota or most of the Japanese companies, the shop floor is a place where we call it as Gemba. And in Japanese terminology, there is one word called Genchi Gembutsu. It means, Genchi means to the point, Gemba means at the shop floor. Go to the point, check yourself. But now that has gone from 2G to 4G, not our mobile 5G. So in Japanese concept, it is 4G concept, Genchi, Gembutsu, Genjitsu, Genin. So we call 4G. So go to the spot, check by yourself, confirm and validate. So Genin is validate. So somebody complains about a problem in the shop floor. Abhi mobile ka duniya hai, we take a word call or WhatsApp, video call, all those things. That is not Genchi Gembutsu. You go to the spot. For your information, Toyota is very, very particular, or most of the Japanese are particular safety. I just give you an example of Genchi Gembutsu. Genchi Gembutsu means everything check by yourself. So even if a blade cut injury happens to your finger in the shop floor, I am talking about a small cut using, which is probably it can happen at your home also, right? For kitchen ladies who are preparing and gents who support their wife to prepare food, they also are used to getting cut injuries. We are supposed to report that cut injury, and it has to be reported within 24 hours. It goes across the globe in 24 hours, report to all the CEOs and the safety officers with a temporary preliminary report followed by within 7 days a permanent action plan. I am talking about a cut injury. Even a small cut injury. One second, when we are pulling the door, if my finger gets pinched, also we should report. So, and why am I saying this? When this happens, and first it will be reported to the plant head, and depending on the severity, we report it to the MD. So, MD also will come to the spot, even if it is a blade cut injury, to see by himself. That is Genchi Gembutsu. So, when we are talking about this Genchi Gembutsu concept, Karakuri concept primarily revolves around this thinking way. Because as Sir was telling, and we could see some models here, all this low cost automation where we don't use any power, we don't use any electrical, hydraulic, pneumatic supply power, how can you bring the movement, how can you bring improvements is possible when you go observe. You shouldn't see. You have to go observe. Only observation is what gives you the result. If you go and see, it is like going to Marina Beach and seeing the good sunset, take some pictures and come back. That is not the seeing in the shop floor. We need to observe. And because it is physics, simple science, you will develop such type of ideas only when you observe. And this will not be just one idea, it will be a combination of ideas. And for this, pardon me, you don't need a master degree holder, you don't need a engineering graduate with a 9 CGPA score, you don't need a person who is graduated from the best of the institutes, NITs, or even any of the best engineering colleges. A simple, normal, common man who knows basic education, who has passed, can give these ideas. That is the beauty of this. In a shop floor where we have the frontline workers working on a continuous standard operating procedures, what matters is how do we really involve them. And to involve them, my friends, let me tell you very honestly, Karakuri can be a success story, provide a right leadership, not making a approval, not giving a investment approval, but who can invest his time in the shop floor. A leader who can invest his time in the shop floor by himself, be with the team, work with the team, is what makes a Karakuri success story. So, this is what is the difference. And in our organization so far, till last week, we have implemented about 53 different type of Karakuris, about 1,300 tons of carbon dioxide reduction, and about 28 manpower reduction, and a productivity increase of more than, roughly I can say, as of now we need to still collect maybe about 30% I can say. Everything is possible, and the investment all put together, probably it will not even, I am talking about in the journey of last 5 years, it will not even cost about 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs rupees. So everything is possible. So when Vivek San came and told that he would like to see Karakuri, if I show to somebody in the shop floor, unlike in many of the industries, confidentiality matters. But actually that doesn't matter. You can't copy Karakuri. Because by seeing you can't copy Karakuri, you have to observe, you have to study, you have to implement, you have to involve, and you have to integrate into your process. And one example, Madurai's cement, Ramco Cement, sir? Yeah, Ramco Cement. Because during the Karakuri Kaizen workshop, I was there for 3 days. So we made a simulation model along with Shankar San and the team. And I was fortunate enough, one day I went to Ramco Cements in Madurai to see that Karakuri. And what he said, I did Genchi Gembutsu to confirm, yes, that Karakuri is successful. So it is possible. So today when he is talking about the white paper, many things could be new if you go through that paper. But ultimately what I can say is, I don't know how many industry people are here. If you mind it, you can really implement Karakuri. You can leverage the benefits of Karakuri, and you can really see the wonders of Karakuri. So think from that perspective. And for the students who are participating here, I think a couple of students came. I don't remember who came along with you, right? Yeah, couple of students. They would have seen some of the concepts which is not available in any of the curriculum. So with all this in the background, so I'm sure when you go through the paper, you will get a lot of insight. But again, that can be a trigger point for most of them. But until unless you see it by yourself, do it by yourself, evaluate by yourself, and then say, yeah, this is a Karakuri Kaizen, that is what gives us the result. So I think with that approach, if this Karakuri Kaizen paper is going to add value, sure most of the industries will be able to incorporate this. And Karakuri is not about just productivity as sir was talking. In fact, just today morning I showed one Karakuri which last week we implemented. It is about ergonomics. We have done a lot of work on ergonomics also, where people are able to reduce their stress factor. So it can be seen from multiple angles, not just from productivity point of view. So what is your priority needs to be thought of. So kindly look from that perspective, and I'm sure subsequent discussions we can have a lot more discussion on this. And thanks to MMA, thanks to Great Lakes, and thanks to the dignitaries on the stage to patiently listen to my words. And I'm sure I will have a lot of learning today interacting with all these great leaders and also some of you during the process of the day. And thank you once again, and have a good day.
Thank you, Dr. Vivek and Mr. Tej Kumar, for those insights. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of those rare moments where ideas stop living on pages and begin the journey into practice. Today, we are proud to unveil a white paper rooted in operations and supply chain, disciplines built quietly, brick by brick, behind every resilient business. Authored by our own distinguished professors, this paper marks a milestone for our institution, the first of its kind in this particular domain, and a testament to scholarship that respects tradition while solving tomorrow's problem. May I now invite our chief guest, Mr. B. Santhanam, to please come forward and officially launch the white paper. As this landmark work is unveiled, I request our photographers to capture this defining moment, an idea taking flight and legacy in the making.
We now come to the keynote address of the morning. It gives me a great pleasure to invite Mr. B. Santhanam, former CEO, Asia Pacific and India and chairperson of Saint-Gobain, India. In this session, he will share insights on Karakuri Kaizen and its relevance to enhance profitability, drawing from years of leadership experience across large manufacturing environments. Sir, we're honored to have you with us. The stage is yours.
Mr. B. Santhanam is the former CEO, Asia Pacific and India and former chairman, Saint-Gobain, India, with a distinguished 45-year career in the group. Mr. Santhanam spearheaded Saint-Gobain's expansion in India, leading investments exceeding 12,000 crore rupees across multiple building materials businesses and operations in 33 locations. A respected industry leader and former CII Southern Region Chairman, Mr. Santhanam currently serves on leading boards including Titan Company Limited and as Chairman of Titan Engineering and Automation Limited. An alumnus of IIT Madras and IIM Ahmedabad, he has received several honors including the IFCCI Personality of the Year Award 2025.
Thank you. Dr. Sanyal, Dr. Vivek, Mr. Tej Kumar, and of course Lakshmi as well as Group Captain. It's an absolute delight to be here. I must confess something. When I think it was 16th December, Group Captain sent a message to me and told me that can you be the chief guest. And it has been a tradition with me in the past for the last 25 years. I've always invited to speak on a subject where I have absolutely no knowledge. Okay, and Karakuri was an absolutely something which I didn't have a clue. So, but every time, and one thing which I liked about what Tej said is, I try to learn from every time I'm asked to speak something. And that kind of gets deposited somewhere and gets used at some point in time. And over the last 25 years, I've let the outside ideas come in. And I've had a porous mind, and that has helped me in some way. So therefore, I must thank you, Group Captain, for inviting me to speak on a subject where I had absolutely no knowledge till December 16th. And now I'm supposed to speak on its benefits. Okay? So I'm glad that, but one thing is, Vivek, I read your entire 54-page report. So I said that before coming here, at least I should have this integrity to be able to say that I've read that report and I've tried to put something together. So thank you. So that's ready. So I think good morning. When we talk about innovation in industry today, and I am a victim of that because I come from a very large group which invests quite a lot, and I was a bit embarrassed when you could have just removed that 12,000 crore investment. When this guy is talking about we spent 2 lakhs and then he saved, I think a little bit of AI would have helped removing that sentence out of your introduction, right? I was a bit feeling embarrassed when I heard 12,000 crores, and here is Tej Kumar saying that we spent 5,000 rupees, 6,000 rupees, and my friend Venki Raja from Ramco, I have to ask him, how did you spend 5,000 rupees and then he saved 75 lakhs? So it's a really, so when we talk about innovation, you know, the conversation usually starts in the wrong place. It often starts with how much it will cost, what technology should we buy, which expert, whom do we bring, what consultant will help us. And I can tell you that this is almost the same. You know, whenever I talk about some ideas, people always come up with this expertise, cost, capex, and everything else. I think the paper that was released by the team from GLIM as well as TGSIN, will you keep that South India even after you go away to North India? Okay, thank you. Okay, so I was just thinking about whether you will have TGSIN or you will change it as TGNIN, TGWIN or something like that. TGWIN is also not bad. Okay, when you go to Sambhaji Nagar, you can call it as TGWIN campus. Okay, so I think it actually raised a far more powerful and uncomfortable question. Why do we assume innovation has to be expensive in the first place? If innovation required large budgets, and only large companies would innovate very well. Anyone who has led large organizations like the one that I have led knows that that simply is not true. And I don't know how many of you know that the whole current revolution on AI is founded by a group which had less than 15 people to start with. The DeepMind group, which started this Google's DeepMind before it became Google. It was a DeepMind Technologies company. In 2010, there was hardly 15 people who started this whole revolution that we are talking about, which is really changing the way the world is today. So we know that it is not necessary that innovation has to start with big ideas or with big organizations. And that's what is interesting about the white paper, because it repeatedly says that some of the best improvements in productivity, quality, and sustainability comes from ideas that cost almost nothing, but require really deep thinking. And that's where the challenge is. And I like what Tej talked about. I think that kind of thinking that comes from observation and forming a hypothesis and verifying it in the shop floor is very crucial. So I think when organizations say we cannot innovate because we don't have money, what they usually mean is we have stopped questioning how work is done. And one of the powerful statements is money does not create innovation, but constraints do. And I think the shop floor is one place where you're always constrained by resources, by time, by machines, by costs. Okay? And I think this is really what the Karakuri paper highlights. So I hope that many of you will go through that paper and get a sense of how to implement it. But it's a journey, as my speakers before have said, it's a journey. It's not something which is overnight. Okay? And for me, I think for the SMEs, I've removed the word M because the M doesn't exist anymore. I think it's SMEs. This is not a disadvantage. It's a natural strength, because the enemy of innovation is not lack of money, but it's really unchallenged habits. And I'll give you some example from my own experience. And I'll just tell you, and we're a large material movement company. Now we move about 3,000 tons of sand and make 2,500 tons of glass in Chennai campus. But when we started, we had just one plant, and we used to transport sand from about 400 tons every day, 25 trucks, to and fro 90 kilometers away to a glass plant. When the trucks arrived, we would unload the sand into a temporary storage yard, because we wanted when you're in Chennai or in India, you always worry about supply disruptions, transport strike or something like that. We had what is called a strategic storage for 15 days. And then this was an intermediate storage. The trucks used to come and unload it in the intermediate storage. On a daily basis, we used to use front-end loaders to load it onto the silos. And one day, one of the technicians asked a very simple question. Why are we unloading this into a strategic storage? Why don't we fill the strategic storage once for all, permanently for disruptions, and load the silos directly from the truck? We tried it, we changed the flow, we eliminated unnecessary movement, we drastically reduced the use of front-end loaders, And quietly, without any technology, without any capital investment, we save lakhs of rupees every year. I think if I'm not mistaken, on that day, it was something like 1.5 crores in that year in 2003. What is important on this is, once we saw clearly, we repeated the same logic across many material movement, not just sand, but in many other raw materials like dolomite, calcite, and I think the cement plant would have known this. Even in the sand producing plant, we did the same thing. From the mines, it used to go directly to silos. We had to do a lot of work with our miners, improving their quality and other things. So, when I reflected this later on, something uncomfortable came up. What has blocked our thinking was not technology, it was fundamental assumptions. The fundamental assumption is strategic storage, okay? And we also have this deeply ingrained first in, first out assumption. We said that we had to put the sand into the strategic storage and take it out from there every day. And this is perfectly valid for finished good, but it makes no sense for a product which has been working on millions of years of geology has worked on to make the sand. And that's really as simple as that. And at that time, until December 16th, I didn't know that this is called Karakuri. Okay, so thank you and group captain for making me learn something absolutely new. So when I read the Karakuri Glim white paper, I realized that this was exactly the kind of thinking it documents again and again, eliminating primarily Muri. I mean, also he talked about waste, but I think it started with eliminating overburden for people and essentially reducing the overburden. He talked about ergonomics as an improvement, and I think it's one of the least understood thing in India is ergonomics. Many of our conveyors are at a height designed for the Europeans, but not for us. So therefore, you find a large number of our employees are faced with a highly unergonomic situation. So therefore, this is really what the whole Karakuri revolution, and I didn't realize that it came in only into existence very recently, and not by adding capital. So what this example really shows, and the white paper reinforces that, most underutilized asset in our industry is not machinery, but it's human intelligence. And I think when the Karakuri really consistently succeeds because operators are not treated as hands, but as thinkers. And I think we don't do that often. They live with the process, they feel the strain, they know the waste long before managers like all of us do. Yet in many factories, you find that operators are expected to follow SOPs, not improve them, not execute them, and not question them. I think the Karakuri Kaizen reverses that logic. So does many of the TPS and TPM, TQM, they do that. It places intelligence where it belongs, closest to the work, and as he called it as a Gemba. So when you silence the shop floor, you do not get discipline, you get dumb systems. And quite a lot of our factories are really dumb, and dumb systems are very expensive. Another important truth is we often confuse complexity with progress, okay? And more steps, more approvals, more dashboards. But Karakuri solutions, as documented in the paper, are elegant precisely because they are simple. You have several examples of that here. Gravity instead of motors, levers instead of software, flow instead of control. Simplicity is not cheapness. Simplicity is clarity. And I think that is not something, I don't know, maybe way back in the 12th century, I don't know how many of you have heard of this term called Occam's razor. Okay? Anything that requires a very complex explanation, something is wrong with that explanation. And Karakuri at its element is Occam's razor. And so the most mature organizations are not the most complicated ones. They are the ones that keep asking, why does this step exist? Why is this movement necessary? Why are we applying this rule here? If a solution needs a very thick manual, and which is a bit worry that I have, because most of you have your ISO 9001 or 15001 or 14001 or 27001. I've always found those SOPs are impossible to be followed because they're written in an arcane language with verbose. So we need something very, very simple. So essentially, if a solution needs a thick manual, it probably needs rethinking. So at this point in time, somebody may ask me a fair question because I'm going to be slightly more provocative now to the Karakuri thinkers. So Karakuri focuses on prevention. And what about the root cause analysis that we are all told and PDCAs, right? Let me be precise. In classical world-class manufacturing, the sequence is usually this. You all know it better than I do. A problem occurs, we do root cause analysis. Once the root cause is understood, we apply PDCA, right? Plan, do, check, act. There is nothing wrong with this logic. The white paper talks a lot about discipline monitoring, review, periodic upgrading the solution. But just see how does this actually take place in real life. The root cause analysis is often done after the event. I want you to keep that in mind. We do root cause even once in a month in a meeting room. Data is collected later. Analysis is done by people far removed in time, in space, and in work from the real process. PDCA cycles begin only after that understanding is formed. Learning is rigorous, often slow. And this is where I want to be slightly provocative. In my opinion, and Industry 4.0 used intelligently fundamentally changes the nature of PDCA. I'll develop this logic. With simple Industry 4.0 tools, basic sensors, counters, presence indicators, data can be captured continuously. You all know that. I think even the mechanical machines do the same. Deviations become visible immediately. Most importantly, the operator becomes part of the feedback loop, and that's really what you want, not an afterthought. Root cause thinking begins while the process is running, not weeks during a month's review or doing some other review. It happens right in the Gemba. Okay? So therefore, for me, root cause thinking begins when the process is running. PDCA cycles become shorter, tighter, and closer to the shop floor. And that's really what this happens. So this does not replace Karakuri, it does not replace PDCA, it does not replace the operator, but it accelerates the learning. So I want you to keep in mind, Karakuri improves the design of work. Frugal Industry 4.0 improves the speed of learning around that work. It doesn't replace. Both are complementary. Let me say directly and very respectfully to the Karakuri practitioners in the room, I don't want Karakuri practitioners to become anti-technology. Okay, sometimes we can be seen as anti-technology because that instinct comes from a very good thought, because there are so many places where technology has been used, abused, where simple solutions are possible. But I don't want us to throw a powerful ally because we are seen as anti-technology. And that's really what, and I would really say it in my view, humble view, simple Industry 4.0 tools do not replace Karakuri thinking, but when used, but they strengthen it. I wrote something, and I'm going to give this as we know that traditionally, Karakuri in its purest form is mechanical in spirit, using clever linkages. It started in the Japanese tradition of the several traditions in Japan. Linkages, gravity, human ingenuity to eliminate waste without relying on power or automation. But this was hundreds of years ago. What I am advocating is not a departure from that philosophy, but an extension of it. I worked on a name for this. I sometimes think of this as Kanchi Karakuri, not just Karakuri, Kanchi Karakuri. Most of you who know Japanese will understand what this Kanchi means. Kanchi Karakuri, a Karakuri that can sense. The use of very simple, frugal sensors to sharpen human attention, shorten feedback, not to automate judgment, and help the operator notice abnormalities earlier and more clearly in that sense. In that sense, technology does not replace Karakuri thinking. It deepens and broadens it and bringing the operator even closer to the problem. So this is the term that I coined this morning as I was coming. Kanchi Karakuri is what? Where you combine the best of two worlds, the mechanical world and increasingly the sensing world. So this makes a very big difference, and this is really what my submission, humble submission would be. Karakuri should remain fiercely anti-waste, fiercely anti-overburden, fiercely anti-muri. But it should not become anti-technology. Technology must never lead thinking, but when it shortens feedback, sharpens observations, and keeps the operator at the center, it deserves a place in the Karakuri toolkit. I leave it to the Karakuri practitioners to examine this thought. Coming back to, I think Tamil Nadu, and particularly the South India, has the largest concentration of factories and SMEs in India. Many are family run. Many operate under, all of you operate under tight margins. You believe that innovation is something only large companies can do. But I think that's a myth. And I think the work that is done by Karakuri and also the paper that Professor Vivek, Tej and all the students have done is, it demolishes that myth completely. And in my view, the Karakuri is scale agnostic. It works in a 20% factory or a 20,000 person organization because it respects thinking, observation, hypothesis formation, verification, and not hierarchy. It shows that sustainability also is not a separate agenda, and I like the idea that you measure all the places where you are doing kinetic energy. Can we convert that into a potential energy, which is really what, and then can we reuse it? And I think that's a brilliant thought. So we don't have to have sustainability as a separate agenda. I think Karakuri delivers economic, environmental, as well as really health benefits to people simultaneously. So let me close with 3 challenges inspired both by experience and by the white paper. Before you ask for more machines, ask for better thinking. And I think that is often the challenge for us. Before you approve the next system, ask which assumption you are carrying forward without questioning. Because this was the thing. We talked about that example of the sand, strategic storage and FIFO. And that was deeply ingrained, saying that we have to put the sand first and take the first sand out. And that seemed silly because the sand has been lying in the world for 4.6 billion years. Okay. So before you assume innovation is out of reach, look at the intelligence already in the organization, not outside. Innovation does not begin with money, it begins with attention. Thank you, and I wish the Conclave every success.
So thank you so much for those wonderful insights. I invite Group Captain R. Vijay Kumar, VSM Executive Director, Madras Management Association, to propose the vote of thanks.
Group Captain R. Vijay Kumar, retired, VSM, is the Executive Director of the MMA and a highly decorated former officer of the Indian Air Force, awarded the Vishisht Seva Medal by the President of India for distinguished service. An alumnus of Loyola College, Chennai, with qualifications in law, industrial relations and management studies, Group Captain Vijay Kumar has served in Kargil operations and with the IPKF in Sri Lanka. Under Group Captain Vijay Kumar's dynamic leadership, MMA has been recognized by IMA as the best management association in India for 15 consecutive years.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I never knew they were going to say so many things. My team is really well-intentioned. Very good morning to each one of you. It's indeed a pleasure to have you with us this morning, and it's my privilege to deliver the formal vote of thanks. I remember a few weeks before where Yash and Vivek walked into my office, said, no, we do a lot of collaborative program with Great Lake Institute of Management. He said, we want to do Karakuri. I told him, what is Karakuri? I know Kurkure, but let me know, understand. Then it took some time for them to explain to me. Then I caught into that idea. I said, yes, we must do this because we have a large number of our members from different part of Tamil Nadu at least who do manufacturing. And this will help them do that. And because while in Air Force I roam, not Karakuri, we do a lot of jugad. I know many jugads what we do because simple procedures, simple format, which really enabled us to improve the operational efficiency. We have done jugad even in some of the finest aircrafts in the country. We have done that jugad, but I think what today has happened is really a great initiative for MMA to collaborate with Great Lakes to bring this great event to you today. And my sincere thanks to Mr. Santhanam. It's always a privilege and pleasure to have him with us. He is one chief guest who thoroughly prepare and come. And when we invite him, we should thoroughly prepare ourselves to, feed all information what you want actually. It's indeed a privilege to really have you with us, sir. Thanks for accepting. And Lakshmi Narayanan, President MMA, for joining us this morning. And Debashish Sanyal, welcome to MMA, sir. It's indeed a privilege to have you with us. I heard so much about you when you were in Gurgaon. It's good to have you with us. And look forward to more such interaction with you. And what to say about Tej Kumar. And his speech is something like a master class on innovation. I can say master class on Karakuri actually. It's really kindled the thought process of many people who are watching this. I'm quite sure they will start thinking now actually. What he said is thinking. Another thing what he said, each one of us should really follow, which we try and follow, is you should be a lifelong learner. And lifelong learner is the one which we support MMA. You come and attend our event, you really learn everything at the end of the day. You go out with a lot of wisdom and knowledge, which will not only enable to help you in your own thing, it will also help you in your organization. Thank you, Tej, for really a pleasure to have you with us this morning and thing. And Vivek, it's really a pleasure to work with you. He's a good professor. So he will send me a message at 2 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock he'll remind me, did you see my message? Thank you, but it's always a pleasure to work with you and great to be with you. And all the audiences, all the viewers watching, I think about 720 people are watching it on live. And it's indeed a pleasure to have you online and all the audience who are present here. It's a great pleasure having you at MMA. We've got a nice place, we've got a lovely library, and the session is going to continue. There's no break. That's why that's another Karakuri we planned. No break in between. So let's do that in the morning. You continue till lunchtime. And we don't want to spoil the momentum of this great event what we are doing, because the continuous engagement is what is going to make you more knowledgeable and brilliant actually. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone. Thanks to viewers watching this program. And if you all any questions for the next time to the panel, there's a Mentimeter. You can ask all the questions. The brilliant panel is here. We will attend to all your queries and all your knowledge which you want to know about Karakuri and what you want to bring it and implement in your own organization. Thank you. It's indeed a pleasure to have you with us this morning. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Now we move to the next segment, the panel discussion, titled Karakuri Kaizen and the Future of Frugal Automation, Lessons for Indian Industry. This session brings together people who engage with operational decisions at different levels, from academic research to real-world execution. The idea is not to arrive at a single answer, but to surface how principles like Karakuri Kaizen plays across different organizational contexts. We have our moderator, Dr. Kedar Pandurang Joshi, Associate Professor of Operations at Analytics and Great Lakes Institute of Management. Joining him on the panel, Mr. N. Harihara Subramanian, Managing Director and CEO of Mayura Automation and Robotic Systems, Mr. Venugopal Gowda, Founder of Lean Tech Industries, and Mr. Tej Kumar, Vice President, Operations, Product Development and Quality at Toyota Gose, South India Private Limited. With that, we invite our moderator and the panelists to begin the session. Can we get our panelists and moderators on the stage, please?
Mr. N. Harihar Subramanian is the MD and CEO of Mayuras Automation and Robotic Systems Private Limited, providing end-to-end industrial automation solutions since 2006. A mechanical engineer, CEG, Guindi, 1976, Mr. Harihar Subramanian is also a distinguished social leader and founder of Mother India Foundation, contributing extensively to education, entrepreneurship, and community development initiatives across Tamil Nadu and India. Mr. Harihar Subramanian has been associated with several service organizations and NGOs and has played a key role in promoting value-based education and social empowerment. Mr. Venugopala Gupta is the founder of Leantech Engineering with a B in Industrial Engineering and Management and 20 years of expertise in Lean, Karakuri, and Industrial Engineering. Mr. Gupta has acquired Bosch REFA training from the German Institute, MTN certification, and ties with P1 and Karakuri training from Japan and Czech Republic trainers. Mr. Gupta is an experienced trainer in BSM-BST, TPM, 5S shop floor management, and the Kanban pull system. Dr. Kedar Pandurang Joshi is Associate Professor, Operations and Analytics at the Great Lakes Institute of Management, with around 15 years of academic experience across institutions including TAPMI and IIM Ahmedabad. A fellow, PhD, in Operations Management from IIM Lucknow, Dr. Joshi teaches Operations, Supply Chain Management, Operations Research, and Dynamic Pricing and Revenue Optimization. Dr. Joshi is also an Education Associate with InChange for India and the Middle East, specializing in supply chain simulations and learning programs.
Thank you very much and very good morning to all of you. So, my respected panelists, so let me begin this whole panel discussion by saying this: we all are learners, and with that thought process, we are here. And one fine day, Professor Vivek called me and he asked me that you are going to moderate this panel discussion. And the same thought what Sir talked about, Karakuri or Kurkure, came to my mind. In fact, I really liked his approach. The person who doesn't know anything about Karakuri or Kurkure, on a lighter note, supposed to moderate this session, but let me tell you, how many of you have watched Appu Raja, Hindi movie by Kamal Hassan? Rare, long back. But first Karakuri in movie I saw, and yesterday I revisited that. This fellow, Kamal Hassan, in the movie, with the idea of gravity, he kills villain. That's okay. So coming back to our main session back, I also teach, as you know, these courses in operations and supply chain management along with my colleagues across business schools. We teach about Kaizen. So I was talking about and searching about where this Karakuri Kaizen is being implemented. And based on my secondary research, I did not find many more places it is not being implemented. But Kaizen in Europe or maybe in US, to some extent they follow. So today we are going to follow in this, as a part of this discussion, mainly our panelists will speak. We are going to use the Socrates method of discussion. Initially we would like to pose questions around what it is, how it started in India. As soon as we get to know about that, following subsequent phase, I will raise some provocative questions. Because we are lucky to have our co-panelists not only from Karakuri Kaizen, but they are also from automation. So we have a little bit contradictory point of views, and we are going to definitely learn from their experience. So let me start with this question to the panelist. that how it started in India. What is the journey of Karakuri Kaizen in India? What is the source of motivation? I would like to request Professor Mr. Tej Kumar to take this question.
Again, namaskara, and thank you for being, part of this panel discussion. But Karakuri, if you ask where it started from in India, I really can't find an answer, but it was used by all of our forefathers also, our grandmothers, and the entire Khandan, if you say. Everybody has used Karakuri, including all the people sitting in this room have used Karakuri without knowing what is Karakuri. That's the reality. You may ask how. At least nowadays you don't see people getting water from the well. At least during my college days, I used to get water from the well. We were in a place where water source was not available in that layout, so there was a nearby well. So I used to go and get, the task was for me 20 pots, we call bindige in Kannada. For me, my brother 20, my mother 10, 50 bindige we had to collect. You see what is the Karakuri there? There we use a pulley and a rope. Okay? So you drop down that pot, plastic or whatever, people used to use brass at that time, at least. We used to use, brass was always good because it will sink and collect fast compared to the plastic. So we used to fight for that also, me and my brother. So there you are using a gravity, they are using a pulley. So this all, in some villages even now are using it, I have seen. So we have all played in the playgrounds. We have all sat and we have fought for sliders. Climb 10 steps, slide down. Go back, climb. Haven't you played? Every one of us have played. Then we have played on the seesaw. Fulcrum at the center. Did we use any automation there? We did not use any power there. It's all based on gravity based. So Karakuri is a name which is originated in Japan. However, if you look at the history of India, it has been in use without understanding, but it was used for a different purpose. The same principles, how industry has converted it to use, is what today it's making a big name. So the Karakuri concept, if you say when it started as a Karakuri, probably maybe in the last 10 years, somewhere, but still not caught up in the industrial scenario because the basic understanding and focus is not there. And for Karakuri, you need practitioners rather than few topics in the textbooks or anything, because when you read it looks fascinating, when many of you are hearing it looks very interesting, but how to do? How do you make that beginning? So a lot of such questions would have cropped up. So the history of Karakuri, if you ask, goes back to our ancient times, but from the industrial scenario, I think for the last 10 to 12 years, somewhere small improvements. And Karakuri itself is a Kaizen activity. So under the belt of Kaizen, Karakuri is one of the tool which can be used to improve whatever we talked about productivity. So from that viewpoint, Karakuri has got a long history, but with that name, it is a different history. To give on a lighter note, you said kurkure, but in Kannada, it has got a different meaning. Kara means hand in Kannada. Kuri means sheep. Kuri, this is the sheep, no? So when we say Karakuri and all, no, people will laugh, he's talking about sheep and all those things. But actually when we go into the details, we understand. So the spelling, when we spell it, no, so we will find out different ways, but ultimately the Karakuri adds value to it, and it's originated in Japan as Karakuri Ningyo. And how it has originated in Japan is, everybody knows karate, correct? You know all karate, Bruce Lee and all. I don't know, some Indian movie stars also should be familiar with that. So karate is not karate, it is karate. Te means in Japanese hand. So kara means empty. So karate is empty hand. So karate doesn't use any weapons. The basic karate or karate what some of your children would have also have been going or finished. It is a martial art, self-defense mechanism where you are going to fight without using any weapons. So an empty hand based martial art is karate. So karakuri is again without using, means empty, means without using any power, using that mechanism of pulleys and threads, how we use it. So that's the connection towards the karakuri pull mechanism. Thank you.
Good morning to all. So if you ask me how it has started in India with respect to Karakuri, in my case, so it was in 2010. So I was working in Denso Kirloskar in Bangalore. So though the Toyota Group and Denso Kirloskar was started in 1995 or 90, but in Denso Kirloskar, even after 10 to 15 years, they were unable to implement this system. Even though it's a purely Japanese company, but they were not able to implement. Okay, so I had a chance where the expertise from worldwide, like Czech Republic, European countries, Thailand, where they come to Denso Kirloskar, they trained almost some 25 people. So in our plant. So initially everybody was laughing. So after listening to the same name, as Tej sir said, Kuri in Kannada means sheep. So Karakuri, they were laughing around in the shop floor, everybody was roaming, Kuri like that. So finally, some people are very serious, and I was the one who very serious on this topic, and it was very attracting to me. So immediately after the training, I sat in the shop floor, you don't believe, almost for 18 to 20 years, 20 hours, just to crack a simple Karakuri. Okay, so but I should say I succeeded in this Karakuri in 2010 in Denso Kirloskar. That was the first Karakuri we were able to implement. After that, now I must say, they have almost implemented almost 1,000 Karakuris. Okay, I think maybe they are in the second place after Toyota Gosai. Okay, so in my wordings, the Karakuri means it's a great technology, can be implemented by using common sense and common science. Okay, and it can be only implemented if you sit in the shop floor for hours together. And it cannot be done using any design technology, any other thing. It can only done by trial and error method. So you can all see these models which are kept on the stage. I must acknowledge my team. They did these models in just 4 hours. Okay, you don't believe. So almost they did it, almost 4 concepts they did. In 4 hours they have done it. Okay, this is about introduction of Karakuri from my side. Thank you.
Thank you for that insightful points. But this discussion now leads to next level. So we got to know now when Karakuri started in India at very smaller pockets. My obvious next question comes to my mind is, which industries and which processes within an industry is suitable for application of Karakuri? Where I'm coming from? Because when I heard many panelists and dignitaries earlier about Karakuri, it is more about ergonomics, it is more about targeting waste. So which industries and typical firms and processes? That's the next question.
If you ask me industry, any industry. If you ask me process, even a bank, even a hospital, where there is scope for motion, where you need to move something from one end to another end, can you look at from the principle of Karakuri? If we have that mindset, it's applicable to everything, including this institution, including to MMA. So it all depends on what we want. So this is a concept which can be implemented anywhere. As in the morning, Dr. Vivek was telling, even though it is coined the Japanese term used in automotive industry, but we saw the example of cement industry. So it can be used for lightweight, it can be used for heavyweight. So there is no such, segregation can be done. It can be widely used across industries, but for their own process, how to visualize it is more important. If you say today, because many of the automotive industries and that too Japanese related organizations are using, they have got a bigger share. But nevertheless, any industry can use. And any advanced industries can also use. Anyway, sir is next to me. And morning Santhanam sir was talking about automation. In our company also, we have implemented automations, we have implemented IoT, integrated with Karakuri. We have complete system setup where we have manless operations, which works, includes Karakuri. We have Kobos running along with Karakuri, Kobos initiating Karakuri, Karakuri initiating Kobos, Robos working with Karakuri, and then our automated bumper painting line with a vertical storage is complete IoT based manless, where it works with Karakuri. So we have integrated with all the latest technologies. So it can be used where you find that there is a need for application for that. So we need to identify the need. In a bank, sorry to say, we have some people moving from one place to another to transfer certain papers. You have seen that one. I don't know nowadays much banks are having this system or not. I don't go to banks. Hardly maybe once or twice in a year I go to bank. So we have one, I don't know what they call, attender or somebody they call. So what is the value addition there? So can you look at the movement of the papers using such concepts? In fact, I had showcased this, how we moved invoices from first floor to second floor using Karakuri. From first floor office to the truck driver, how we used Karakuri, zero man. Just for one single paper of invoice. So if I can do it in one office, it can be used in any offices across the world. So it's all about the process. So we need to study about that. So it can be universally adopted is my viewpoint, sir.
Hello. I feel that as a person from the automation industry, service provider, I strongly feel that this Karakuri Kaizen need to happen in the minds of the people first at every industry, not only in the shop floor, but in the office also. Because the technology, what is available is changing fast and new things are coming. Everybody should be abreast of what is happening in the world, and we should bring in new technologies also which can simplify. For example, laser has made the welding and cutting so beautiful and so fast. Vision technology has revolutionized inspection in the last 10 years, and industry cannot progress without bringing in new technologies. So that is very important. Everybody in the office, in the factory, in the shop floor, from worker onwards, need to be a Kaizen warrior. They have to be trained first. They are our assets and they should be made to think, they should be made to participate, they should be rewarded so that more and more good suggestions. After all, the improvement can come only from the workers who see it day in out. So we have to encourage them, our workforce, to come out with appropriate suggestions, support it with funding, little funding that are required. Maybe a small department need to work in implementation. If it is done in every industry, without spending fortunes, a lot of improvements can be done on quality, on productivity, and a lot of profit can come to the organization which can be shared. So the approach to this is to start working with the people and make them think, make them participate, make them part of the whole process. If that's done, it will be a great success. Here, I would like to recall my days with Tafe, Massey Ferguson Tractors, where I joined as a trainee. It was a 2 years training and I was put into every department. It was really, we had an excellent GM, MLS Rao, who is my mentor from Tata Steel. He encouraged trainees to come out with suggestions. Every month we had a meeting with him, 5 of us, trainees. He used to ask, what is that you can suggest for the improvement of the factory? So whenever we walk, we see, we used to, what can be improved. That sort of an attitude and focus was there in us. So every top authority in every industry need to make everybody work towards it. And I myself contributed 8, 9 very good suggestions, which Mr. Rao encouraged me to implement. And the result was, there was a lot of saving, a lot of improvements. Even though some departments didn't like a trainee to take so many things in his hand, but ultimately they gave me the confidence to come out and start my own enterprise. So the Karakuri Kaizen need to happen first in the minds of the people in the factory, then it will be a great success. Thank you.
Thank you very much about that insight, sir. Usually when we teach any topic, for example, Six Sigma is one religion, and we talk about a methodology, DMAIC methodology. So likewise, next question comes to my mind, do we have a blueprint for Karakuri? Or rather, as sir you said, you can apply Karakuri to any industry. So how a consultant or a person goes from outside or within industry and starts to identify a problem, and I heard a number like 1,000 Karakuris, right? So is it like a patent? This is my next curious question.
Adding to previous question, just I take 2 examples. It can be implemented anywhere and everywhere, even in the household. Since Vivek sir always keep telling me the pulley and the rope, so I will give an example for that. So because I did this in my house, okay. So it can be implemented in your water tank, okay. So to check the water level. So you just insert a air ball into the water tank and using a pulley and the rope. So by indicating just a minimum level and the maximum level. So wherever you don't want to invest, so you can think of this Karakuri. In the same way, as the Tej was telling to implement in bank system. So earlier maybe you were seeing the token system in the banks, okay. So they were using the machines for printing a token. So instead of that, if you can make a transparent funnel with a coin, when you just pull down one coin, the other coins will keep coming down. So each person can take one coin, and so without power, without a machine, this can be implemented. Similarly, everywhere, anywhere and everywhere, this can be implemented. It's very so simple.
As Professor asked the question about Karakuri implementation possibility in numbers, yes. What defines the number is the type of Karakuri. Suppose you are talking about a motion in x-axis, y-axis, z-axis, all put together as one package, you will get a Karakuri. If we can split up, depending on the type of process, it's one more Karakuri. So, it depends on how we do. So, it's about motion. And coming to patent, yeah, there could be some opportunities for patent. In the morning, professor was telling we got the global best award. We competed with 28 countries. Why did we get that award? The only unique point which differentiated us from them is we have a injection molding machine where the robots come, picks up the bumper and goes. So every 45 seconds, the robo moves on the track, comes back. Its job is to drop the part, then come back to its own position, then get inside the die or the mold, pick up the part, then transfer it back onto the Karakuri conveyor. We had a Karakuri conveyor already where the part flows up to the man who receives at the other end and picks up for inspection. So one day while, it's just again an observation, when my production in charge and we were standing, so I was that day looking for cleanliness. Dust, shop floor dust, all those things. So we do a campaign called Bright and Beautiful every Friday, where 9:30 to 10:30, I myself will broom the shop floor or clean the shop floor along with the people. We have to do. So I was thinking to this week what we will plan and all those things. So I was thinking, Tumba Galijagide means it's very dirty and all those things. Then when I was standing on the mezzanine and we were seeing that all robots going and coming back, going and coming back. It is a mandatory function. Then I said, how can we use this? That's all. At that moment, there is a motion happening, can we use this? Then one of my member was saying, sir, another modboard, something we will do. That's all. We came back. Then after next day, we will do something, why don't we connect it for something? What to connect? Then one of my members, we can connect it to something to trigger some motion. So where to trigger? Then we had a Karakuri conveyor. So we connected that with a nylon wire with a 2 pulley. So every time the robo comes forward and drops the part, it triggers the conveyor to lift up. And once it goes back, we have a all mechanical trigger. So it returns back. So the entire Karakuri is triggered by robo motion now. Anyway, the motion was happening. We did not create any new motion. So a robo was functioning for the 20 seconds. So we implemented that. So integration of robo to Karakuri, we did that. So Japanese got surprised. What is this? So they did not know what to tell this one. So they came up with a word called, since you said patent, I don't know whether it is patentable. It is called Suiden Karakuri. What is Suiden in Japanese means 2 parallel activities. So why parallel activities? Because when the part is being picked up by the robot and moving, parallel it is also triggering the Karakuri. So they converted that name to, and then this was something even Japan did not understand how we have done, our headquarters. So then our chief technical officer, then he said, I want to see a complete live video of that one again. He said, okay, fine, we'll do it. And now we have implemented for 3 or 4 machines. So coming back to the point, it's not, we don't do Karakuri for the sake of getting a patent. But if there is some output which can really worthwhile for a patent, maybe, we can think of. But I think on a larger purpose, it has to be on a shareable. This is my point of view, personal point of view. It has to be shared. Patent, like what Volvo did when they invented the seat belts, they never patented it. Correct, no? So if they had patented it, I don't know what we would have been now. So there are certain things we have to look from how do we share knowledge and help. From that viewpoint, every activity can be done. recently we have done one more. So I said we had couple of 2 belt conveyors in our plant. We had to have belt conveyors, only a distance of about 4 meters. I said this conveyor is run by a small motor. It is inevitable because of the type of the product. It's an aesthetically important product. I cannot use a Karakuri. Then I said, anyway it is running. So how to use this energy and convert into power? So we bought an inverter and we connected through a circuit, and now that generates power to run my 2 tube lights on the work table. So the same conveyor where I am using power to run the conveyor will give back me power to run 2 tube lights now. Fair enough, that is enough for me. So it's all about how we can convert that's why I said in my last talk also, observe very carefully and observe motion. When you observe motion in the shop floor, people motion, parts motion, or any equipment and tool motion, check, is it value addition? If there is no value addition, it's a waste, muda. Eliminate it. If you can't eliminate it, minimize the power used for it. So with that approach, if you do what Gowda was telling about 1,000 Karakuris, yeah, I think now many people would have done. It is possible, and some can be patented depending upon the complexity and the importance of the output we get. So that's my viewpoints.
Yeah, thank you for that answer. That leads to me my next thought, sir, here. You know, when we asked you about a patent, my mind was going to those models particularly. So I was thinking, is there a standardized solution? For example, when I think about human body, when we are not keeping well, we are sick. To avoid that sickness, we try to follow healthy lifestyle. And then we go for allopathy, homeopathy, Ayurveda. So likewise, I'm a little bit asking a controversial question, because I'm referring controversy to Sir Harihara and Tej sir, because you come from both divergent thought process according to me, because he is expert in automation, which is mechanical automation. And what I learned so far is Karakuri is more about targeting waste, avoiding energy usage. So how do you take up this sequence? So when I took example of human health, I should first of all try to use my desi nuska and then maybe go to medicine. So so this question is for Sir Harihara sir, are you indicating, are you okay that industry should try Karakuri first and then try your automation, or in a different way?
See, taking it to Indian industry, today, all the industries, wherever I visit, they're all very keen into going in for a full-fledged automation. We are into robotics, collaborative robots. They are there everywhere. We have put the labs, robotic labs, in about 100 colleges. So the new technologies like laser, robotics, vision, everyone wants to bring in, so that the quality part of it enhances and the productivity goes up and the cost per unit comes down. So this is something which we cannot stop. It will certainly reach a saturation, because today India has become a global supplier. We need to really work on that and meet the needs of the global industries. But Karakuri is something which is something like a breathing that needs to come as part of every industry. So we need to promote it within the industry. A lot of benefits can happen, and it will keep the industry and the people virile. You will always come out with some, thought process which will simplify, which will modify, which will make things, easy, so that even other countries will copy, as our friend said. So these are two things. One is, there's going to be extraordinary level of automation happening in the country. Let it go. But at the ground level, we need to make warriors who will take this forward at the industry level. If this can happen, certainly they will marry each other and progress. It will take 10 years for, in my opinion, to reach a saturation level of automation in industry, and everybody will then start talking about this Karakuri Kaizen. So let us start it now so that both will be parallelly strong at that time. Thank you.
Sir, to add to it, I was curious. You've been doing this for a long time now, right? So obviously your solutions, you compete in the market, you're going to be cost competitive, right? I'm wondering if you've already used any of these principles in your solutions. Like you create automation, right? And if you're cost competitive, I'm guessing. So do you have, can you quote any of your examples where you have used these? We need not call it Karakuri. You would probably used a lot of gravity in your automation, less number of sensors, right? Could you tell us? You've done it for such a long time. We're curious about that.
Yeah, any industry need to be cost conscious, but we are also driven by the parameters that the industry set to us. When they come and tell that I'm getting such a production and such a quality level, and I want to increase it to this level and zero, a rejection, then we need to necessarily think in terms of bringing new technologies and pushing it forward and making it achieve. There, I may not get opportunities to use this Karakuri Kaizen, but wherever I feel that, that is not required, I have always told the industry owner, this is not required. You can still achieve it with your current thing by tweaking a little here and there and still get the productivity and quality. So even at the cost of my business, I have suggested ways which has improved the whole thing without any additional cost and given the results for them. Recently, I was there to study a labor-intensive unit where the kumkum and religious things were packed by a 80-year-old company. They wanted the manpower to be reduced and then automated. After seeing the number of women that they were employing and coming out, I told the MD that you're doing a great job in a rural area. You're employing so many people. You're giving them livelihood. Why you want to automate? Why not you continue this way? If it really, you have an issue in getting the manpower, please come to me. I'll certainly help you. So it is always a question of what exactly you want to achieve at what cost. Thank you.
Yeah, so as far as the flow of the panel discussion is concerned, I come to my last question, where this is again a thought-provocative question, sir, I am getting since morning. When I see those things and have also done some research, I felt that, is it a Kodak moment for conveyor manufacturing companies? When I say Kodak moment, we know what happened to Kodak. We know what happened to when Nokia did not budge. We know. So, is it really going to replace power automated conveyors by this kind of models?
I will connect to what Subramaniam sir told. See, first thing we should understand, Karakuri is not there to replace automation. No. Karakuri, over a period of time, will integrate with automation. And we have done that. In our plant, we have done that. We continue to do that. In our upcoming projects, we are using AMRs, we are using COBOs, we are using IoT, Industry 4.0, which calls for all the latest software technology with Karakuri. So, Karakuri per se will not replace anything. Karakuri is a thought process, a concept where you can really minimize your investment, use simple ideas, and the biggest advantage is you are empowering the shop floor people. The automation decisions can be taken in the boardrooms, but Karakuri decision is taken in the shop floor. And that is the value addition you are going to give. A automation decision, you bring 10 cobos, 10 different minds will think in 100 directions. But if the same Karakuri is done by the same person or couple of people, everyone will come together and give a motivational support to that. So Karakuri should never be misunderstood to replace automation. Okay, point number one. Point number two, you said the Kodak movement. Honestly, when we have a thought process of improvement, these companies who make these rollers, these aluminum profiles, the C clamps or the T clamps, whatever we call, they were in the market. They were in the market and they have been used for different purposes of storage systems. But now the same thing is going to be used for a different purpose, wherein we are talking from the key point of Karakuri. So from the business point of view, if it really takes off well, it's a good thing. It's a good thing for those industry people. But there is nothing bad which Karakuri is going to have a negative impact of any of the industries. Then the fourth point is automation and manpower. See, I think he deserves a big round of applause. You know why? If somebody has called him to give a business, he says that you take care of the people the way you have been doing so far, and that is humanity, that is value addition. I mean, he is a man of values, that itself is proven. So I think this type of leadership is what matters a lot. So fantastic, sir. So coming to the point of manpower reduction, the whole purpose is not that you remove the people from there and hit on his stomach, remove him from the job. No, that is not the case. Any industry, the best of the best industries will have 30 to 40% wastage in every process if you map it. If you really do a VSM value stream mapping in any process, including the MD's office, including the activity of the secretary of MD to the last person in the company, everyone will have wastages. There is nobody 100% perfect. Who maps it? We all map only process. 56 seconds, you study the SOP and see where 4 seconds you can reduce. What happens in the non-Gemba? What is the time taken for purchase order approval? What is the time taken for SAP data entry? If you really look at micro level, everywhere there is a wastage. So manpower removal is not the word to be used, it is manpower optimization. You are able to identify a process where Karakuri can be used or where automation can be used either through Kobo, Robo or any other means. In the whole scenario, you are able to improve the efficiency of the process. You are going to replace that man, but that man is going to do a different work for which you are going to upskill that man for that work. That is the way we have to look at. And in the process, you don't need to recruit a new person. So if we look from that viewpoint, this type of tools is definitely going to augment very well in the industry with the automation technologies, where the fear of job loss, where fear of people removal, all those things is completely eliminated. So we have to look from the positive side, and I don't think there can be any Kodak moment for anybody, but it is actually a Eureka moment for everybody, I think. Thank you.
Today, I think thanks to artificial intelligence and so many other good things, I think the current generation, the youth in Great Lakes, you're all very fortunate. I'm able to talk to AI on so many topics and get such a fantastic response. Okay, it's really overwhelming that you have a companion, you knock at him at any time, even at the mid of night, and get excellent suggestions for your, next step. So, and there are so many. I was just looking at a few days ago how the Namakkal industries handle such a fragile thing like egg in their productivity, in their production process, where they export 3 or 4 crores of eggs, abroad, and give another 3-4 crores to Tamil Nadu and elsewhere. And the videos I saw, in the YouTube, extraordinary, that gave me some insight how such a thing, a fragile thing like egg is handled in industry. So I will encourage the youth, the workers, the industrialists to encourage their men and women to extensively see what is happening in other industries so that they can bring them into their own industry with slight modification, and you get the benefit. You need not go to a consultant like me to take all these things for a fee. So everybody can be an involver, and that happens, an exchange of thoughts over your own website. If it happens, I think this process of Karakuri and automation will reach the peak in the next 4 or 5 years. Thank you.
Since the question was related to conveyor, yes, some cases really I would suggest before going to a motorized conveyor, please try with a simple Karakuri. For example, say this Karakuri will be applicable in each and every manufacturing industry where you want to transfer a part from one process to other or to a one machine to other. Okay, say there is a one machine here and there is other machine 2 meters apart. You want to transfer the part. So instead of making a motorized conveyor, you just make a gravity roller conveyor like you see here, and in a bin you just tie a rope. Okay, when the part is put by an operator from this side, it moves to the other operator. Once the other operator takes that part, it easily can come back if you just tie a 2-liter water can if the part weight is 1 kg. So that kind of very simple Karakuri system can be done in place of motorized conveyors. Yeah, that's my view.
So now, before I speak about my closing remarks, we can take few questions.
So we have collated a couple of questions from the audience here and the ones watching live as well. So I request you to take up these questions for a discussion. Yeah.
So, sir, this question is for Mr. Harihara. So the question is, for a plant new to Karakuri, what are the top 3 starter applications you recommend that quickly demonstrate value? This question is from Ms. Priya.
So if it is a new plant, and I think if you are already selected your manpower, and you need to sit and discuss with them the entire process, how you would like to go about. You have to present what are your objectives. If it is on the power, reducing the power, what productivity you would like to achieve, what quality you would like to achieve. You have to discuss with everybody, all the stakeholders, take their suggestions, and then come to the drawing board and then start working on the layout and the sort of machineries that are required for that. Wherever possible, simple solutions like what Tej and others have told, bring them into place so that the plant itself becomes highly, both production and power oriented, full of, new techniques which are not in paper, but from the minds of the people who are going to work for it. If you take up the approach that way, the plant that will result out of that will be certainly conducive to your objective of Karakuri and automation together. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This is a question from Jenny, and this is for Mr. Venugopal Gowda. What are the most common mistakes companies make while attempting Karakuri solutions, and how can they avoid?
The basic mistakes, what they think is, they do is, like when they heard this word Karakuri, they think that it is something not for us. Okay, it is something for related to Japanese. It is not for South Indians or North Indians. Okay, so and that is one myth. Okay, and they think also negligency. Okay, they neglect. Now we are in 5G or 6G world, and why we should do these concepts? Okay, this may be our grandfather age concept. Why we should follow this? Okay, but these myths are kill us. I mean, in doing small improvements. So my suggestion to all of you, so go to the Gemba, analyze the process, make small improvements. Then only you will be able to achieve the Karakuri. Without going to Gemba, you will not be able to do any of the Karakuri. This is my view.
Yes, please.
The question, anyway, before I come to my question, I will just add to the previous question, what mistakes people do. One of the biggest mistake is, I have heard today about Karakuri, I have learned somewhere, I have read somewhere, I will go and tell somebody to do the job. Karakuri cannot be an activity which can be delegated, and then if you delegate that work, the person, if he is not passionate about it, it will not work. A person, a leader, at any level for that matter, if he is able to have the freedom, flexibility and passion to go sit like this, bend like this and look at like this and see like this and touch like this, that is the way Karakuri will begin. If I wear a suit and I stand in a boardroom and say that, all ladies and gentlemen, I have heard this in MMA today, it's a fantastic tool. So let us start, make a team, CFT team, get the best brains, all those things will be there in the boardroom. So most important mistake, why I am telling is, you have to select the person with that approach as a leader. And a leader should be able to bend down and sit with the shop floor person, forgetting about his dress, uniform and position. If that happens, the rest, all what we discussed, this everything will happen. And when he said, when he was trained by them, he stayed 18 hours and did it, and today he is running his own enterprises. That is passion. So if any leaders are here, first you understand Karakuri, to if what all you want to implement, do yourself little small things, at least a survey and analysis. Further, then identify a person who has got that passion. You will always find one or two people. It is enough. You don't need a big team for this. My team is only 5 people. 5 people, out of which only 1 engineer and the rest of all ITI pass. Enough. So, mistake, if you talk as a mistake, is first identifying the right resource people within the organization and involvement by the leader. Sorry to repeat this question. Leadership, as we say, walk the talk. A leader for Karakuri should be doing that, triggering ideas and go and involve with the team members. Then you go back to your chamber, cabin or boardroom. That is a separate issue. So one of the mistake people do is, it cannot be like Six Sigma concept. I'll put a team, 7 QCT, I'll put a team of 5 people. Vaisa nahi chalega. So that is what, from my point of view, it's a mistake or it is a shortcoming. Identification of such type of people is the biggest challenge according to me.
So the next question is for this sir from Malini. So the question is, how do Toyota Group companies institutionalize Karakuri so it becomes a capability, not a one-time project?
Okay. If today I am sitting here, that is because I have an answer to that. My company or myself, we never believe that it is something for us alone. So we have done Karakuris. I've been closely associated with Professor Vivek even before he was with Great Lakes and with our Shankar sir and many others. So I have done many such sessions and programs for many industries in Bangalore, Coimbatore and other places where, as I told, by teaching them, I don't lose anything. My company doesn't lose anything. We gain a lot of inputs during the process. And when we talk about Karakuri as a concept, now Toyota Kirloskar Supplier Association, there is one association called Toyota Kirloskar Supplier Association, all Toyota suppliers. Many, including Japanese companies, don't know about Karakuri. So we are training them. So many people visit to our company and we train them. Similarly, there are two other companies, including Denso and Aisin, we train them. So this concept has to take shape means in this way. And today's function, what we are talking about, and when Professor Vivek approached us and told us about the paper, I said, "You are most welcome to spend time with us." So the purpose here is, like, yes, we are here as a Toyota, we are here, and Toyota believes in knowledge sharing when it comes to concepts, and that's how the entire TPS has captured the world. So just in time, Kanban, all those specific words what we talk about is because of Toyota. So Karakuri is one such word which is again taking shape, and we are going to see that how industries benefit out of this. From that point of view, in fact, we have also, another point is we have what we call, in my company, there is a place called Gurudama. Gurudama is training center. Whereas in Toyota Kirloskar, it is called Gurukul. And in Denso, so most of our Japanese Toyota group will have their own training centers. So we have set up a small, we call dojo. It's an experiential learning center. We have various such models, miniature models. Now I am upgrading that to the next level in the next 1 month. So we are upgrading the Karakuri dojo furthermore to the next level, how to come with some new ideas. So our focus has been to enhance our learning capabilities through this type of dojos or experiential learning centers, where people can understand the concept, people can interact, and of course that will pave the way for them to establish within their own shop floor, is what our thinking way. So from that viewpoint, Toyota and group companies are working, like our company Toyota Gosai, Denso, Aisin, we all share amongst ourselves. I send my team to Toyota Boshoko to help them implement some Karakuris. There's nothing wrong. And just 3 days back, Toyota Boshoku won the best skill competition in Japan. And the VP sent me the message, "Thank you, Tetsan, your team helped us to enhance our Karakuri skills here. So we won in Japan." We feel very proud of it. So we believe in sharing, and so that way, in future, if anybody wants to visit, you're most welcome.
I would request on this occasion Mr. Tej Kumar to find an Indian word for this Karakuri so that the obstacle is removed and then everybody gets involved in the plant. This is a good concept. Only thing is the name, it looks to be a stumbling block. So second thing is that, as he rightly said, unless and otherwise the engineers, so-called engineers, go sit with the workers and start doing things, they will not be able to come out with the right solutions. You call it this way, that way, but it need to come from working along with the workers, which I did passionately when I was in TAFE. During assembly, for 1 month, I was putting the tractor together at every stage. And one day I found that one component was sitting inside the tractor without doing anything. So I questioned engineering, why this coupling or spacer is there at the end of the PTO shaft. And that was sent as a suggestion. And engineering replied saying that when we brought the tractor, we thought that we will use an implement at some time or the other. But we never got the opportunity to use that implement wherein the field was not requiring So we left that component there. That was costing about 75 rupees, and nothing less than 2 lakh tractors have gone. So unless otherwise you start working, the things will not reveal itself to you. So if you want to bring in Karakuri or any other plant improvements, engineers need to go to the work spot, work with them, understand their difficulties, see for themselves, and then many things can happen. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next question is from, it was from Pratik, I think. Did you answer that question only? Yeah, okay. So, yeah, one before, please. Sixth question, question number, I think we have, it was from our student. Pratik, yeah, Pratik. So, Pratik is there, sir. So, he has gone through formal course structure so far at Great Lakes. So I know why he's coming from. So he's asking that we generally learn lean methodology, which is followed by Kaizen. That also cost and shop floor focused. So are we revisiting lean? Then how it is different? That's what he's asking.
When you talk about lean, okay, if it was a PPT, I would have shown you. People want to have six packs, right? What is that? You go to the gym, you want to shed your weight, extra tires here all around your waist, all those things become like Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, or I don't know who else is the local hero here. You're shedding weight and you want to become lean, right? Same way, in the process wastages, we talk about lean. But the question it says is about cost and shop floor. Lean is not meant only for that. It definitely happens in a shop floor, and it can happen anywhere, as I told. It can happen in any of the industry. It can be in service industry. It can happen. Point number one. So a shop floor means it's a generic thinking that, yeah, it is a manufacturing. Yeah, where action take place. What is a shop floor for a hospital? What is a shop floor for an academic institute? Classrooms. For a hospital, it can be an operation theater. It can be an emergency ward. That is where operations means action happens. So first and foremost things, lean can happen anywhere. Okay. And definitely it is just focused. Rather than shop floor, I can just change the terminology. It's a process focused. Every activity is a process if you look from that process. So you have to look at that. And cost. Cost is an output, byproduct. If you have a budget saying that, yeah, this is the constraint, because of that I want to do Karakuri, I think that is wrong. Lean manufacturing should not be based on your budgetary planning. Lean manufacturing should be a activity which gives you the budgetary advantage. So the conception that, yeah, cost is the focus for lean manufacturing, if I understand that question, I slightly deny that. So I believe very strongly, yes, lean manufacturing is a concept which gives you a cost benefit, which gives you a safety benefit, which gives you a quality benefit. So SQPCD, all if you look at and add H, health, all these things comes from lean manufacturing. It is not primarily on the cost aspect, is my viewpoint.
So it was a good question. So lean manufacturing is a whole concept. It's like an end-to-end solution. When we are looking lean, it's from raw material to finished goods. Okay. This Karakuri is a low-cost automation where we will going to implement in a specific area, specific process. Lean is a overall methodology. In lean, it's an aspect or a subject as a low-cost automation. It's my view.
I think we have one more question from Nirmal. This is for Venugopalji. Where should organizations draw the line between Karakuri and semi-automation, whether it is electric or pneumatic? And what is a good decision framework?
So the simple answer will be wherever, see in Karakuri there are various types. So we can say it's a pure Karakuri, like there is no energy attached to into it. And where, when we come to it, they say 80% Karakuri and 10% or 20% automation. And next level say 50% Karakuri and 50% automation. So these two terms are always attached. So we cannot differentiate. So Karakuri and semi-automation is always required. Without this, we cannot succeed with only Karakuri. This is my viewpoint.
Yeah, I want to add something. See, whenever an object is coming from top to bottom, I think you can use gravity. If it's going from bottom to top, you will require some source of energy, unless you have a counterweight or something. So it has to be used judiciously. But wherever we have gone and seen, people just put conveyors without looking at it. So, example, okay, I would want to quote again what we had done. This was in a cement plant. There was a conveyor to bring all the cement bags from top to bottom. So they removed, okay, first question we asked in Karakuri is, why do you need that conveyor? Because the bags have to come at a certain speed. And then Tej sir just told people go to park and fight for sliding. Right? So in this particular industry, the conveyor was removed and they put a chute. What is the energy consumption of the chute? Nothing. How much was it, sir? He's done it live. So, 50 lakhs was this 1 minute saving in that. And the chute was, what is the cost of the chute, sir? 10,000 rupees. So that's, I think I answered.
Okay, to one question, I will quote one example. So we have this high rider, Toyota high rider, you call dashboard, we call instrument panel. So we do some vibration welding, etc. And it has got some 20 clip assemblies to be done, manual process, for which we bought a Kobo. So we programmed it and we bought a Kobo and did it. But once the part is assembled with the clips, to keep the next part, this has to be moving out of the jig. So how to move out? So I said we can take it up. How to take it up? So we have some mechanism. So our boys came up with the idea, sir, we will put 4 pneumatic cylinders and then it will lift up. Then I said, why do you need pneumatic cylinders for this one? So sir, it cost only 3.8 lakhs. I said, no, we will not buy. Very clear. Come, let us go. I sat with the guys. I sat literally squatting and I said, let us study what is happening. So you have to get a vertical motion. So why you need a cylinder? Why can't we get with a counterweight mechanism or Z-axis pulling where we can trigger that? So finally, to cut short the story, I said, why can't we bring the using the same approach, thinking way, instead of 4 cylinders, let us try to bring with 1 cylinder. Sir, that's a big part, 1.6 meters. How it is possible? So suddenly I thought, somehow I didn't trigger to me, but I said, why cannot this one, what do you say? The sleeve be one inside the other and take it up in a sequential manner, which is like a telescopic mechanism. You will not believe, when I said that, I had no idea. One of my member, he is ITI, Anil Sasalwad. He said, sir, nim job kayaki. He said, you put your hand in the pocket. He saw what I was keeping in my pocket. He could see the tip of it. It was a pointer. It was a pointer. We use it, no, to explain on the board. And you can stretch it to whatever. So it's a telescopic mechanism. He said, sir, are you thinking about this? He asked me. I never thought about it. I only said the concept. He said, because you are having, did you think of that? He gave that idea. Then I said, hey, correct. Why can't we do something like this? And we did like that. We did like that, of course, concept-wise, and it's a small, channel with a telescopic mechanism with 1 pneumatic cylinder at 32,000 rupees. We did it and getting a stroke of about 1.2 meters. And the rest, entire motion is triggered by Karakuri. So that is what I am talking about. So the point here is you don't need to do something extraordinary or any such things. Can we integrate? Here I have used one pneumatic cylinder. No, I want to do only with Karakuri. Somebody asked, what is that framework? Framework is how you get the benefit. That is a framework. If you are able to achieve, so from 3,80,000 rupees, I achieved in 32,000 rupees, but still I have got one pneumatic cylinder. Now process is running fine, and we are going to the next level of automation now. So as such, if you say there is no defined framework, there is only one framework, improvement. That is a framework we have to talk about, my viewpoint.
Is Mr. Satish around? Yeah, I really like this question, so I'm a little bit biased. You know why? Because he is asking a question about warehouses, and we know in warehouses are known for motions, and I can relate with this idea of Karakuri Kaizen. So his question is, how can Karakuri be used in warehouses to lower operational cost and energy consumption while maintaining productivity? Anybody would like to share their experiences?
So normally in warehouses, you will have a fixed racks and moving trolleys where the kitting happens. Okay, so we supply a lot of trolleys to warehouses. So, like in a simple way, you can implement bin transfer Karakuri in case of warehouses, where the empty bins goes back to racks and the filled ones comes to the trolley. But it's not that simple. Okay, you will have to put lot of thinking in implementing Karakuri in warehouses. That's my viewpoint.
Sir, my point is, as I told you, please study the motion. What motion are you talking about? So warehouse, I don't know, depending on the products what you are talking, if you are having heavy objects or heavy materials or raw material or finished goods, if you are talking about a warehouse for a Amazon warehouse, it's a diversified product range. Lightweight to heavyweight you will get. If you are talking from a raw material storage like cement industry or maybe plastic granules, it's a different. So what type of storage you are thinking? So any motion which you can think of value addition through Karakuri is the first possibility. And then you can decide about what length, what distance and what axis it has to move. So a deep study of the motion and the frequency, and very important when you design the process layout is, and which also includes manpower layout is, how frequently you are going to use that motion. If every cycle is 40 seconds or if every cycle is 1 hour or 30 minutes, what is that is going to define it. So please look from that cyclic operation, look from the products what you are using, look from the height which you are talking about, and Karakuri can be integrated into different levels where you can have two parallel Karakuris being triggered also. So that's why layout study, motion study is very, very crucial to decide. As such, you cannot have a thumb rule like 2 + 2 = 4 for this. So you have to do that deep diving into it, and then you can also have an integration of warehouses. I am just telling you, warehouses can be an integration of AMRs, Kobos and Karakuri, wherein your efficiency, because you are talking about productivity. So your time, warehouses also need to talk about time. So if you look from all these aspects, so I think you will have a package solution rather than everything I want to do in Karakuri. Don't go with that mindset. Go with wastage reduction, bringing a smooth motion, for which you can go for some portion, as Sir was talking about, some portion Karakuri, some portion automation, some portion, these type of improvement activities, basic improvement. That's my say on that, sir.
I have something to add for a warehouse. In a warehouse, ask one question. How many times is a person bending? Especially in the packing area or the dispatch area. How many times have they to pick up a box, big box, small box, the height? Can you automate that using Karakuri? It may be, let's say, 100 times per day, 500 times per day. Okay, I would want to say, Tej sir showed me in the morning one Karakuri. Karakuri is basically putting something and it automatically loads it. So first question, as usual, I asked him, how much energy did you save? And his answer says no energy. Then next question, how many times a person has to bend? Said 45 times per hour. He has saved 45 times per hour of bending. Can you do that in a, okay, you tell me in a warehouse, what is the biggest problem in the packing section? People have back problem, correct? That is where you can actually target. Okay, sure.
Coming back to your point, packaging is another area where this guy is doing a lot of motion activities. At the end of 8th hour, a person who is making 70 bends, 80 bends a day. These are all something which really we need to look at. The social point of it, which you said that which is part of a kind of a sustainability. So I think this is something which we are really looking at it, and we have a plant managers are there here. And this has given us a very good insight, and thanks for your suggestions and the framework guidelines. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is little bit knowledge management kind of question. I can go on to the senior most panelist. The question is, many Kaizen ideas remain isolated. How can organizations create a system to scale Karakuri innovations across lines, shifts, and plants?
Yeah, it's a beautiful question. Thank you, Shiva, for throwing it across. I think you're talking about Karakuri Kaizen becoming a way of life in industry. That is very, very important, because Karakuri Kaizen need to happen in the minds first and should get encouraged by the industry leader at every level, from the supervisor to the manager to the GM and to the managing director. Everybody should fall in line and encourage Karakuri Kaizen in the factory. If that happens, then every participant, every worker will become a warrior and will contribute. And at the end of the year, you will see that the accumulated benefits are so enormous. You need to have a channel. You should have every, vertical, every factory, every shed. You should have leaders who will encourage Karakuri contribution from workers, analyze it, and then take it upward and get the sanction for implementation, so that a group can take up the implementation simultaneously and everybody can see the benefit. And wherever such Karakuri Kaizens are implemented, the individual who has thrown the idea need to be recognized. You can put up his photo and his suggestion and how it got transformed into an activity, so that, he also gets personal recognition on the spot. So if the whole thing is taken as a culture, I think the benefit the industry will derive will be enormous, and we can simply avoid a lot of unnecessary automation. So I think it needs to start from the people mind, and a change of name. I think Tej Kumar will put it in the site very soon. With that, I think we can march forward to give a new shape to this thought process. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We are going to take 3 more questions. So this is from Muni. How to monitor or track and maintain a Karakuri project? So a Karakuri.
Okay,
initiative.
the two things straight. If you talk it as a project, it can go from 2 days to 2 weeks to 2 months. So you cannot define a specific time frame. But I don't say monitor, I say review. it is not like you have deadlines for, what do you say, our project management where we have some events, some milestones, etc. Yeah, we need to have a schedule of activity. But this is all about a brain game, mathematics, everything play, and results will not show up the moment you try this. It's impossible because every angle matters a lot, every distance matters a lot, so you have to do a lot of iterations. So, but rather than with the purpose of monitoring, if the leader goes with the purpose of reviewing and supporting, it will become faster than monitoring. So I want to be very clear in this. In the implementation stage, it is more about reviewing for improvement and success rather than monitoring. Now, once it is implemented, here you have to do monitoring. So for this, what we do, we have identified plant-wise one person we have allocated. So every day in our Asakai means morning meeting. So the production engineering team will not demonstrate, will indicate we have got plant 1 this many Karakuris, everything okay, not okay. Before the meeting starts at 10:30, they would have done their initial Gemba walk and confirmed what is not working, or there will be challenges. Because it all works on gravity, suddenly some roller, some bearings, some wire, these challenges will be there. So how to set right that? So every day in Asakai we do the updation of the status. And then for real checking, maintenance of Karakuris, the concerned in charge will be along with the concerned process owner. Process owner may be a manufacturing person, it may be an assembly person, or it may be a paint shop person. The concerned in charge along with the Karakuri in charge will be fixing up a time wherever required. We may have to replace certain rollers wherever required. So there is a check activity which they do, and they will implement to see that it doesn't fail. And any abnormality in between will have to be addressed immediately by the end of the shift. That is one of the so-called KPI we have given to the production engineering department.
This is another beautiful question. In the world of circular economy, Mr. Manikandan has asked this question. Sutesh sir, this is for you. You have highlighted scrap reuse up to 90%. How can plants create a circular system to ensure scrap becomes a design input, not a waste?
I think the concept of circular economy, then SDG, all these things speak the same language. But that words of circular economy, is it living in the policy statement of MD or the CEO, or is it living in the shop floor? Or is it only limited to the boardroom? That is a management thinking way which is very, very important to be checked. If some resolution is taken and if you have put it in your website and this one for the sake of doing it, nothing will translate. But how are you going to bring it to the shop floor? And what is the involvement? Are we making clear that this is our requirement? So once you are clear, then everybody speaks the same language. Next point is the team which is working on Karakuri concept. First and foremost requirement, at least what I have told is, use all available materials, go to the value add. We don't call it as a scrap yard, we call it as value add. Go to the value add and source everything from there. And whenever we do every Thursday between 12 to 1, I do a Gemba walk with HODs. Means one area. Every day I will be going in the Gemba on my own, but on that day, 12 to 1 o'clock, will be with the HODs from specific areas. So all those identified so-called scrap or unwanted things, wanted, all those things will be taken and placed there. So the first job is, whenever you have designed a Karakuri thinking, can I source it from the value add, is what we think. Next question is, just 2 days back I was telling, go to a vendor near Bidadi, that is our industrial town, who is a garage, somebody's name I told. You ask him what all he can give it to us and we can buy it from him. Why not? So we were looking for a model for this one. So for our new learning center. So third point is, can you think about some different ideas? We are building a car for training. So initially we thought we'll buy the chassis, everything from the press and die department from the Toyota. It's a lot of complicated process. Then using the same thing, I said we will do it in the wire. The car is almost ready, but it will not run. It is for explanation, okay? So we have to think from that viewpoint. Can we get, our theme is Karakuri or any Kaizen. Any Kaizen, I am not restricting to Karakuri. Any improvement should first using available resources. That should be the theme. How much of resource are you utilizing in this? Like people say, no, this percentage of it. So yeah, out of 100 rupees I am investing, at least 30 rupees I am investing, 80 rupees I am investing in using this, etc. 20 rupees I need this money for buying it outside. It's okay, worth. So that approach is important. Thank you.
Now we come to the last question for this panel discussion, and this question is a little bit futuristic with respect to current situation in India. So the question is, what is the biggest adoption barrier in India for this Karakuri Kaizen, and is it lack of awareness, skills, or management belief, including safety concerns or poor problem identification? Maybe there can be a solution. So can you throw light on the solution and barriers both?
I think, as I said earlier, it need to be happening in the industry at every level. There are a lot of innovative thinkers among the workers. They know the problem. Only thing is we need to encourage them. There should be a group leader who will stimulate the whole thing, be a catalyst there, and maybe sit every week and analyze the situation and come out with suggestions in improving the process, in cutting down the cost, in minimizing the waste, in improving the power cost, in so many things. The higher officials can always sit with them and give them additional inputs, so that over a period, the industry, you have so many hubs working on a simple automation solution, which you call this Karakuri Kaizen. And the benefit can be, you'll be raising the manpower to the next level, which is very, very important. Wherever I go, I find that the manpower is underutilized with respect to their capabilities. They are not being encouraged. What happens, some of the manpower there are acting against, certain systems. All these things we can stop by being with them, encouraging them, and making them to contribute. So that is the only way, we can take this forward.
As per my experience, the only barrier I feel is the thinking mindset of the leaders. Like, we want more leaders like Tej sir and Vivek sir, and also like Shankar sir. It's a top-down approach. Okay, so some executive or a production engineer cannot do it without the support from the top management. And if an executive does it without the support from the top management, they simply laugh, okay, and they neglect it. Okay, it's a purely top-down approach, and we require more leaders who really think on energy conservation and people's fatigue and improve the ergonomics of the people. That's my view.
With this, okay.
Due to some popular demand, I am requesting Sri Venugopal Gowda to demo all that and basically explain how the solutions were made. Can we?
So I must say the effort behind building this model, the all assembly started yesterday around 2 p.m. So our almost 4 people put an effort. They completed at 10:30 p.m. So we struggled to pack this material in my car. So for the entire night, I slept with Karakuris. So my driver and my engineer is here. So we were very happy that in a very short period of time, we were able to build this simple Karakuris. This is, I am sorry, this is like simply unedited movie of a Talaiva, okay? Because it is in a very raw stage, okay? So, but the concepts are proven, but it's a raw stage, okay? So this is a Karakuri where, for example, say, you want to transfer say there is a process that side where the particular bin has to go that side. Say in one particular operation, the bin has to go that side. Say it goes that side.
Wait. All of you, please note very carefully the bin went and got stuck, correct? This is, the solution is engineering. Principle is fifth class.
Bin is going that direction.
Half a
say,
degree can.
After some process, you want to deviate the bin to other process. Just using this lever, so you can easily turn like this. And say the bin comes this side. This is only a demo model. So in large scale, it can be done very easily. This is one just simple model. You can.
I'll add one point to it. If you want to do, now we showed it by hand. We connect it with a nylon rope pedal. We put it in pedal. You don't need to bend also. You don't need to use the hand. So that you'll turn left or right by the pedal itself. Next level.
Okay. This is here.
I'm holding.
We need it. This can be like bin orientation change Karakuri. Okay. It changes the orientation of the bin. Okay. See, the bin is coming in this direction and that orientation is getting changed without any manual effort or manual intervention. This Karakuri can be implemented everywhere.
Why this concept is important is Toyota follows the Kanban system. And for the person who picks up the part should be able to see the Kanban. So for the feeding person, he may not be able to see, but for the pulling person, he has to see. That's why the orientation changes, he will be able to see the Kanban. So that's one of the objectives behind it.
So now this is a bin transfer Karakuri, where very famous Karakuri, where this is also very easy to implement. So where the empty box goes to a chute and the filled box comes to a trolley. Yes. One second, do it once again. So that is a trolley and this is a chute. By just intercepting both of this, the bin getting flown to this. If it is having some weight, it goes automatic. Yeah. Put some weight, Anuj. Anuj. So this is called bin transfer Karakuri. Yeah. So these are very few models, but Vivek sir was chasing almost from 2 weeks. I could not do it really well, but I am promising Vivek sir, when you are doing next time, I am getting 10 Karakuris, okay, so that everybody can easily see it.
Okay. See, most importantly, there will be no welding, there will be no screwing, it will all be just outside clamps. I'm inviting all of you to come and have a look at them. No, first thing sir asked us, grease will damage the place. Find one drop of grease, I will change my name. There's nothing in it. It's just nylon over metal or metal over nylon. Lot of common sense and plenty of engineering. So, right.
Thank you, panelists, for that insightful discussion and a wonderful demonstration. You really brought theory into practice. I request Mr. Giridhar Gopal, Honorary Secretary MMA, and our moderator, Dr. Kedar Pandurang, to felicitate our panelists. I request Dr. Sanyal to join us as well.
Give only more books to read. MMA public. Come. All of you. Come. What do you want to do the job?
Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the close of today's program, we would like to take a moment to express our heartfelt thanks. On behalf of Great Lakes Institute of Management, Chennai, and Madras Management Association, we sincerely thank all of our dignitaries, speakers, panelists, and moderators for sharing their time, experiences, and insights with us today. The discussions on Karakuri Kaizen offered valuable takeaways, reminding us to minimize energy and effort wastage, to dream big while starting simple, and to practice root cause thinking in our approach to continuous improvement. Today's session reinforced the idea that meaningful innovation does not always require complexity, but clarity of purpose and thoughtful design. We are grateful to everyone who contributed to making this program engaging and enriching. I, Arpita, along with my co-host Abhishek, wish you a very pleasant afternoon ahead. Thank you so much. The lunch will begin shortly. Thank you.